Mr. A's thoughts right here on the Ready Talk Boxing Show, the Double RT Boxing Show with your host, Mr. A. Thank you. Now, this video, this segment, thank you for your time. This is purely a thought. There's no facts, no rumor, just looking at things, trying to crunch out some analytic numbers. And it's in an if a world that if Gennady Golovkin does fight Sergey in August to keep his IBF belt, if he does not vacate it for the September 9th Canelo fight. This is based on fact. And Oscar came out and saying Canelo will fight in September and December. So if that is true, can the December fight be Golovkin? Of course. So in saying that he's going to fight in September and December, I don't think he will fight December if he fights Golovkin in September. But like I said, this is strictly if Canelo and Triple G do not fight on September 9th. If Canelo comes back and fights 2 fights, we're going to dive into who might his opponents be. Who can he fight 2 times to close the year out? And then if he fights 2 times, obviously May 5th is going to be Triple G. Now, going to the rankings, the middleweight rankings, I eliminated the WBO and the IBF and the WBA, and I shot straight for the WBC, because if you look at the rankings, they are loaded with the most top 10 Golden Boy fighters. So in the top 10, you got Yamaguchi Falco, Jack Kool-Aid, Gary Sullivan, Willie Monroe, Roberto Garcia, Kamal Zameta, David Lemieux, Jason Quigley, Demetrius Andrade, Daniel Jacobs. So if you heard those names, you probably picked out which ones are the Golden Boy people. There's Gary Sullivan, David Lemieux, Jason Quigley. And then there's even Willie Monroe, who's a free agent but works with Golden Boy before, so he's also available. Will they take that slick style? Might be a comparison with Golovkin. You could bring it back, a nice comeback fight to fight Willie Monroe. Hey, now we have a nice little measuring stick on what these 2 fighters. Golovkin did this, Canelo did that. You can compare them. That's a wild card. But I really don't think that's going to happen. I think they're really going to keep it full in-house Golden Boy promotions. Now we're looking at, like I said, this is only if in the world that Triple G fights Sergey in August, he does not vacate the IBF belt. If they really, I know Abe was coming out saying that, hey man, the undisputed is not so important anymore. Like I said, this is only if they keep their word and stay on that track and fight Sergey to keep the IBF belt. So that leaves us with 3 top 10 WBC Golden Boy fighters in the middleweight rankings. You got number 8, Gary O'Sullivan, number 4, David Lemieux, and number 3, Jason Quigley. I'm going to guess he won't fight David Lemieux first. It's a heavy hitter, and even though Canelo most likely will win, it's just a little risky. You never know. David Lemieux might just land a cracking shot. It might make Canelo look a little vulnerable. So, secondly, you got Gary O'Sullivan, who they really been bumping up on HBO, getting a lot of noise. Had him in the Mexican sombrero. The Irish man. Even though Mick Conlon calls him he's the Irish Mexican. You guys get what the Golden Boy is trying to do with him. So Between Gary O'Sullivan and Jason Quigley. Quigley's not much of a power puncher like Sullivan. He's a little rangier, a little slicker, but he's a skinnier guy, not as much of a threat. So I'm going to say, and again, this is if Triple G fights in August and takes that IBF mandatory with Sergey. And Golden Boy saying 2 fights, September and December for Canelo. I'm thinking that first fight is going to be Jason Quigley. Adorable name. Number 3 in the WBC rankings. So that's a good comeback ranking. And there's not much of a punch threat there. And then in December, close out the year, you got David Lemieux and Gary Sullivan. They might give a nice big end of the year with Lemieux. He might be a bigger draw, depending where they put the fight. You know, you could compare that with Triple G, but I'm thinking it's going to be Gary O'Sullivan. Because Lemieux fights tonight. I believe he fights tonight or very soon. Either tonight or the 26th, I think it's May 26th Lemieux fight. So depending on how he looks in that fight, it might help this decision out. But as of right now, I'm thinking September fight is going to be Jason Quigley. You know, it is a Mexican Independence Day. I don't know if they would throw Quigley, the Irishman, and Canelo in New York, considering it's Puerto Ricans more than Mexicans. So it'll be a good Irish fan base there. But I think the Irish might go to Vegas. So give a little Quigley support. Mexican support Canelo. So it might be a Mexican-Irish fight war on Mexican Independence Day. You know what I mean? A little play, a little war right there. And like I said, and in December, a nice Christmas close out the year with Gary O'Sullivan. That's what Mr. A thinks. And again, that's only if Triple G fights and is tied up for the August mandatory IBF shot with Sergey. And Golden Boy said they got 2 shots for Canelo. I'm going first fight, Jason Quigley. A nice Irish-Mexican showdown for Independence Day, Mexican Independence Day. And then in December, Gary O'Sullivan. They've been pumping him up for a reason. Double RT Boxing. I'm your host, Mr. A.